Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. I spent a bunch of money recently and I'm not getting any like buyer's remorse or anything like that. I just every time I think about the purchase, I just am like, I don't know, like my energy's like sapped or drained away. I don't know if anybody else has felt like that. It just is like, oh, I can't believe that I did that. But it makes a little bit more sense if I explain this. So to try to justify this, I'm going to do some, well, I don't want to say girl math, but I'm going to play with the numbers a little bit here in my head, make me feel a little bit better about this big purchase. Before we get into today's video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Like if you enjoy this type of content, also make sure to check us out on Instagram, Tenza_motorsports. Now, these are the Mac torque wrenches. These are the angled digital fancy torque wrenches. 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. And before we pop these open and show them off, I want to talk about why I bought these. The first engine rebuild I ever did, which was in this car right here, I used the really cheap Harbor Freight clicky torque wrenches, and I didn't have any issues necessarily, but it just always kind of made me a little bit nervous. And I feel like if I'm doing engine rebuilds, I should probably do something a little bit more serious. So doing some more research, watching videos like Torque Test Channel, things like that, I came to the conclusion that there was a few torque wrenches that I could have probably have done, but I wanted to make sure that I was getting a really good quality one. If you go on the trucks, the tool trucks, Cornwell, Matco, they're gonna be like right around the same price at closer to like, I think they were almost $2,000 for 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. Obviously Snap-on I think was almost $3,000. It was like $2,800. Well, Mac was quite a bit cheaper. I think I bought all three of these, including the upgraded that I actually paid a little bit more for the 1/2 inch one because it's a 300 foot-pound instead of the 250. And I think this was $1,600 or $1,700, something like that. So a couple $100 cheaper than the other two trucks, and then quite a bit cheaper obviously than Snap-on. And we do have an independent tool truck that comes by, and he had gear wrench and Astro, but if I was going to do ones with like those, I was definitely just going to get them on Amazon because obviously he marks them way up. And so, you know, if you're doing Mac, there's not really a lot of other ways to buy Mac tools. I don't know which channel did it, but the gear wrench ones did not score very good. I was actually looking pretty seriously about buying those on Amazon, and they just did not do very well. I think the majority of this video is just gonna be trying to justify this purchase, and then I do want to show how these work. So if you're interested in how these work, I'll have a timestamp a couple times here in the video, and then I'll probably put one below because these were kind of difficult to run and function. And so I want to show off how these work because I couldn't find any videos on it, and then just finally had to eventually take them back to my Mac guy and have him show me how the heck do these things function, just like getting them set up and stuff like that. And again, I can't remember exactly how much these were. I'm trying not to remember all the time how much I spent on these, but $1,600 or $1,700. So let's look into my potential engine rebuilds coming up. So just at a camera over here, I don't know if you guys can see it, we've got an N55 engine that we're rebuilding. I have an engine for this car that we're rebuilding. And then once that engine goes into this car, I'll be pulling this engine out and rebuilding that one. And then I also have the 986 Boxster engine that needs a bunch of work done. All right, so there's 4. So now you take that 1,700 and you divide it by 4. Now you're like $400 an engine, and I just chalk that up to the cost of rebuilding those engines. So that's how I'm gonna justify this purchase. This is something that I needed to buy, is really how it came down to it, and I wanted to make sure that I bought a nice set. And there are a lot of other torque wrenches out there that are really good quality, and I'm not talking down about any of those. These are the ones I decided to go with, and I wanted to buy some ones that are reputable and that I know I can get service for, and that I'm not gonna have any issues with. Let's pop these open, I'll show them off, and we'll get some cool B-roll footage of them. And then again, I do wanna show off how they work, so I'll get a bolt, I'll put it in my vise here, and we'll show off like how to get the angle and stuff set up. All right, so they come in these really nice blow molded cases. They are kind of bulky to be stored this way, but we do have a foam drawer organizer. I'll show that off in just a moment. I believe this is the 1/4 inch one. It looks like it. And comes with a couple Toshiba batteries. And then here is the ratchet itself. Nice little screen. It's got the LED lights that light up. It beeps at you. It's a fairly decent feeling ratchet. They don't need to be like super fine tooth most of the time when you're doing, you know, engine work and that kind of stuff. So I don't know if it's a 72 or something like that, but it feels okay. It does have the reverse switch here, and then this one does allow a bit of an angle to it. So I'm just gonna show all these off real quick. I'll show off the foam holder, and then we'll turn one of these on and show how they work. So here is the foam organizer for it, and I think this is way cool, and this is how I'm gonna actually be storing them. You can't really see here, but this drawer, this first drawer, which is where I'm gonna be putting this stuff, there's not enough room for those blow molded cases. Those cases are really nice, especially if you're, you know, packing them around, but for storing at the house, they do take up a lot of room. This is nice to have this battery holder thing up here. There's 6 spots for your 6 batteries, so 2 for each one. Do not leave batteries in these. I don't know if anybody needs to hear that, but do not leave batteries sitting in your electronics, especially something this expensive. I would assume that if you did, that would probably void the warranty. I don't think that they'll cover just gross negligence. So I want to show off how these look in the drawer, but yeah, I think this is a really cool setup, and I'm glad that it comes with this. I did not know that it came with this. When I first ordered it, I just thought it was just going to come in the cases and I'll just store them loose, I guess. All right, so this is how it fits in the drawer. Does not take up a lot of space. Nowhere near, like, here's one of the blow cases. I mean, you can't even stack them double high in here. It would hit the top of the toolbox. It won't let you shut the drawer. So I think this works out really well. I'm gonna grab one here. We'll just grab the 3/8, and I want to show how to do this. Pretty simple operation here. You'll spin this off, and then we're gonna drop in 2 batteries, positive side down. And then this is the only part about this that kind of is a little bit frustrating. This is kind of hard to get started because it's pushing out so far. I don't know if you can see that, but. And then I'll use another screwdriver. Don't crank on this, and we'll press that in the rest of the way. That's the only downside, is this is kind of a pain to get those batteries in there. I'm going to turn it on by pressing this red C button. And see, it is on. Now your green M button is your memory. There's an M1 right there, and then M2. And so, like, if you're doing a lot of torquing at a certain setting, you can actually save that setting. So the thing that was killing us was when we would scroll through this, when you get to the degree, it would do this. And we were like, what the heck is going on? You need to set this down on a flat, motionless surface, and then it will recalibrate. That's what I was fighting. We could not seem to figure out why, when we would go to set up our angle, it would do that. Real quick here, we're gonna do something easy, 15 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna grab a bolt, we'll stick it on the vise, and I'll show how to run that, and then I'll also show the angle as well. All right, ignore the mess on this side of my workbench. So let's say that we're gonna go to, I'm actually gonna do it fairly low because the vise isn't really gonna hold that very well. So we're gonna go down here to, let's just do 10 foot-pounds. And it is very loud, so you can see that it actually shows you what you're doing. And then as you get close, it'll start to beep until you're at 10 foot-pounds. Now what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna go here to a degree, and I'm gonna drop it way down to like, just like 10 degrees. So same thing with the degree, is it'll actually show you what degree it's sitting at. There's 6, 7, 8. Now we're gonna start beeping. 10 degrees. Now what's cool is when you're done, you see this number here, it actually shows you what the final torque number was on that bolt. The best thing to do with this information is if you're torquing down a bunch of bolts, like your head bolts, your crank bolts, or something like that, you'll write this number down and just make sure that all of those bolts that are getting tightened down are roughly the same. If you're seeing big discrepancies, then you'll probably want to look into that, but it is nice that it gives you that final number. It's really not that difficult. Once I found out that when you see that calibration screen here, this one here where it's blinking, is to put the wrench down and let it zero out, let it calibrate. Once I figured that out, it was a heck of a lot easier to use this, and it's very intuitive. I haven't had any issues since then. I just needed a little bit of guidance when I first, and like most things, the instruction manual on this was awful, and I couldn't find any videos on it at all. So that's why I had this time stamped. If you didn't want to see the introduction of my video and me trying to justify why I paid so much for these, you're able to jump straight to this and see how it functions. So thanks everybody so much for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing a bunch of engine rebuilds, and I'm going to be using these an awful lot the next couple years. And I don't think that building this many engines over the next couple years would be smart to do it with just the cheap clickies. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see everybody in the next video.
Bam!